evening, good morning, good afternoon, depends on the part of the continent for which you are joining this program today. It's good to be back. Today's Sunday. Happy Sunday to everyone. And I hope you tune in and enjoy this program for today. Our topic for today is the best president Nigeria ever had, IBB or other president. I'm going to be having a special guest as well. Chief MD is going to join us in this program where we're going to analyze some of the achievements, things that we believe that IBB did that no other president till today has been able to surpass or achieve even half of them. Former President Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, known as IBB, often faces criticism for his controversial decision to annul the election of Moshood Abiola, which has overshadowed the significant advancement made during his tenure as military head of state. Despite these blemishes on his legacy, it is undeniable fact that the following development accrued under his leadership, and no civilian president has yet matched even a fraction of his achievement. Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, GCFR, GCB, born 17th August 1941, is the Nigeria statesman, a military dictator who ruled as a military president of Nigeria from 1985 when he orchestrated a coup d'etat against his military and political arch-rival Muhammadu Buhari, until his resignation in 1993 as a result of the post-June 12, 1993 election, which he illegally nullified. He rose through the rank of the Nigerian army, fighting in the Nigeria Civil War at the various times, being involved in almost all the military coups in Nigeria. Before advancing to the full rank of a general and ultimately as commander-in-chief of the armed forces and as an unelected president and military dictator from 1985 to 1993, ruling for an uninterrupted period of 8 years. His years in power, colloquially known as the Babangida era, are considered one of the most controversial in Nigeria political and military history, being characterized by a burgeoning political culture of corruption in Nigeria, with Babangida and his regime estimated to have appropriated at least $12 billion, $23.9 billion today. Beg your pardon me. The Babangida regime oversaw the establishment of the state security apparatus, survived to the coup d'etat, and subsequent execution of Mama Vasa in 1985, the Gideon Oka 1991, alongside the trial of hundreds of soldiers, assassination in Lagos of Delegiwa in 1986. The regime also faces a series of ethnic, religious outbreaks related to the fallout of Babangida decision to increase cooperation with the Muslim world and rise in extremist tendency. On the continent, his rule projected the country as the regional power with diplomatic success, including the Abuja Treaty and the military engagement of Nigeria troops in Libya and Sierra Leone. Abroad, Babangida military regime cemented traditional relationship with the English-speaking world of the United States and the United Kingdom, and implemented economic liberalization and the privatization of state-owned enterprise alongside a national mass mobilization. The fall of Babangida and his regime was precipitated by the transition towards the Third Nigeria Republic and subsequent militarization of politics in 1993 presidential election, which he annulled. There is no doubt that the former President Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida has achieved quite a lot during his 8 years tenure in office. And today, most Nigeria view the former president as the founding father of corruption in Nigeria. They also blame him for the annulment, which I believe, in my own opinion, to be one of the biggest mistakes he made. However, with all this blemish record that he has, he still stands out tall among every president, whether dead or alive today. Because I'm going to read you all this man accomplished in 8 years. And I want any of you watching this program today to tell me if there is any other president, dead or alive, that you can compare their record with the record of IBB as the military dictator in Nigeria for 8 years, two tenure. Then I'll probably rest my case. But in absence of that, just telling me is the founding father of corruption, is the father of 419, he introduced 419 to Nigeria, he killed Mama Vasa, he killed Dele Giwa with letter bomb, and telling me all kind of stories. You and I know very well that there has been other head of state in Nigeria under the so-called democracy that we borrow from the Western world today, that they've killed more persons, than those that were killed under this man that you refer to as the founding father of 419 and the killer of democracy and whatever you call this man. No matter what you refer to, you call your the names or whatever you refer him as to, for me, the record speaks for himself. I'm going by the record, what the man did. First, during the IBB, the longest bridge in the continent of Africa was built. That's the third mainland bridge. Under IBB, he established 2 major political parties in Nigeria, where he also built each headquarter in all the 36 states in Nigeria. The man has done extremely well. And because of the little blemish record that he has, or the little baggage that he carries around, people fail to give him the accolade, the respect that he deserves. Because those of them who call themselves the Democrat today, those of them who call themselves the Democrat, I beg your pardon. MD is trying to log in, but I can't find him here. Let me see. Maybe it's probably using a different a link. Just give me a second. Let me try and bring our guests into the program. Yes, I'm sorry for that interruption. Our guest was trying to log in, so I needed to ensure that he has the right link to log into the studio. Let me bring Chief MD. Chief MD, you are welcome to the studio today. It's good to have you.
It's a privilege, as usual, to be part of this wonderful event. I should claim a co-host of this event at this point now,
Yes, you are.
because
You
we
are.
talk
You are. You are.
of the show more than we talk on the you
Yes,
know.
you are. You,
We
you are
talk
my
more of the
co-host.
show than we talk on the show.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Let's
Yeah,
go
how are
straight to
you,
the
my dear
point.
brother?
I'm good. Let's go straight to the point. Can you just read us some of the
Good.
achievement that Babangida achieved under his tenure as the military ruler of Nigeria for 8 years? Give us some of his achievements.
Which part do you want me to talk about? The development? Do you want?
Yeah, the development.
I
Just
can.
talk about his
There's over a
development, and
million of.
I want our audience who are watching from wherever in part of the world to also show us any living or
Okay, I'm
dead
going to break
president
it.
that has been able to achieve or surpass what IBB, the man they refer to as the founding father of 419, the man they refer to as the founding father of corruption in Nigeria, so they can
I'll,
show us. Because since yesterday that I posted this event, I have received calls from
let
every
me
part
put
of the
this in
world.
context. During 8 years' time, during his 8 years' time, I'll just put it in context because people may not understand the greatness of Babangida if they don't really have taken time, and if all they've listened to is the bias, noise, and lies. He created more states within 8 years. I'll break it down into states. He created into security, arms. He created another development. He created more states within 8 years to give marginalized citizens of area more state and power to be part of Nigeria. Edo State, Delta State was out of Bender State. Let me start with that. We can go to Abia State. It's a new state under Babangida. Yobe State, Katsina State, Taraba State, Jigawa State. Enugu State was a creation from Anambra State. Delta State, Osun State, Edo State, Kwara, I split Akwa Ibom State. I mean to say, you can just see that. Let's talk about security, right? All the security arms we have today, from the like of the SSS, NIA, DIA, even to even the Road Safety Corps, he created them. He built a federal capital. Even the Aso Rock we have today, he built it within 8 years. He created a state party across each of the state of Nigeria. You understand? The third mainland bridge at one point, I'm talking now construction, is one of the biggest,
The longest bridge in the
uh,
continent of Africa.
longest, longest bridge in the continent of Africa at one point. This man did it in 8 years. All the parastatal of a state that is in Lagos State, Babangida did it. And the time he moved to Abuja, don't forget, the time he moved to Abuja was at the later part of his of his tenure, or the later part of the time he stayed in power. He still was able to create a strong political party. APC, PDP. APC is an offshoot of a collection of other parties that stood today to the test of time. He's also the first president and the first president to create state infrastructure across the whole 36 states. He put money in education. He put money in public health. Do you know the whole 8 years of Babangida time in power? How many times did you hear him travel out of Nigeria for treatment?
None.
Never did.
No, he never did.
None. All his treatment, whatever it was done locally. Plus, I don't blame him. I don't trust any of the foreign government not to do evil to him. So when we talk of Babangida, I think when you want to talk the founding fathers of Nigeria today as it is, they might talk about Awolowo, Azikiwe, Tafawa Balewa because they fought for independence. But if they omit Babangida, they'll be doing the greatest disservice. The flip coin of Babangida is to look at Obasanjo and Atiku administration when they came in. They destroyed everything. Obasanjo might be going around sanctimoniously right now and preaching democracy and everything. They sold off all the government parastatals to their friends that was liquidated and ripped apart. Those parastatals during Babangida era was properly maintained, and we're not only living off oil during Babangida time. We're not living off oil. Right now, the federal government and Nigerian government live solely 95% of oil. We import, we export food, agriculture, investment in agriculture, investment and road investment that Babangida was putting every money on. Yeah, there's some little bit of corruption and everything. Security, let's just talk about security, for instance. If you and I remember way back when Anini was disturbing Edo State, Anini, when he was disturbing Edo State, what did Babangida did? It wasn't the IG of police
He called
or the guy and said, listen, in 1 week,
police.
if you don't produce that guy, 1 week or so, if you don't produce that guy, your head is on the table.
That's right.
Straight away, Anini was caught. And all those who are part of Anini, with all those supporting Anini and everything,
police,
selling Ingo and everybody was rounded up and dealt with. Everyone was ranked up and dealt with. But we have 8 years of Buhari. We have more terrorism, explosion. We have those who are pushing that cow have the same human right. So we can't compare. Since Babangida era ended, if you look before that era, before Babangida, that's Obasanjo time, Shagari time, Obasanjo military time, Shagari time as well. And after Obasanjo era ended to Obasanjo time again, Buhari time again, it's a shamble. Nothing gained, nothing improved. We actually went backward. When Obasanjo gave power to Shagari, civilian government, we didn't even progress at all. There was nothing major actually happened. When the military coup of Buhari came in, all we did was just sanitation. That's it. They didn't last long anyway. I think about less than 2 years.
Yeah,
however, 8 years of Babangida, Abuja we have today was conceived and delivered within 8 years. It's never done from scratch. So, if we're to be honest, so far so good. Regardless, it was a military dictator compared to any other leader that have led this country. Buhari is still one of the. I beg your pardon. Babangida is one of the greatest leaders. I'm not. Babangida is the greatest.
For mentioning that name, Buhari, can you just throw away saliva, please? Just throw away spit. When you take mention Buhari, how will you then mention Buhari in this place?
What? It was a mistake.
Thank you.
No, it was a mistake. Buhari will go down in history of Nigeria as one of the greatest mistakes we ever had. Not even as a leader, just the greatest mistake of a human being that we ever had. To get into a position of leadership. It's tribalistic, it's a religious bigot, and has a low IQ person. A very, very remote, low IQ human. I've never seen a remotely low IQ human being on planet Earth in a position of leadership. He has no purpose, no vision. He has no end. As a leader, he has nothing that was motivating him to be the president, apart from just being the president.
Chief Fendi, let us not deviate from
Babangida,
the purpose of this program for today. I want you to just quickly read what you think those are major projects that any country should have from the list of the project that this man accomplished for 8 years. Just on your own, just go through the list. Tell us just the key infrastructural project that he executed.
I think for me, don't forget, he also was one
Babangida is electricity, healthcare,
even before I go further, Babangida is also the person who created the ECOWAS headquarters in Abuja, the army school, the armory school in Bauchi. He also went philosophy school in Calabar, a quarter of Federal High Court, Navy dock. He also the one that create the Navy dock. He did too much. He created within 8 years that would have taken a lifetime. If I kept on reading Abuja International Airport, the Supreme Court in Abuja, the aluminum melter company in Ekobasi, the National Eye Center in Kaduna, the PAPA zonal office in Central Laboratory in Yaba. I can go on and on. If I'm reading through this long list, I don't think there's enough in this show. And I can tell you what they're still doing today. All those things they created are still functioning. We have to contrast him to any of the so-called leaders to date and contrast him to those who want to be leaders today, and then say, you know what? When we talk about Babangida, we should, of course, he did a lot of not so savory things as well. I'm not going to be oblivious to that. I'm not going to say the man is totally a saint, and I agree to that. And of course, one of the commas, one of the shaded part of Babangida is the June 12 election. And he's given his apology, he's begged for it publicly, he's given his reasons and everything. But fair enough, let's look at the whole holistic picture of Babangida. For me, he's still the greatest leader we've had. He's still the greatest. He's the one person you can say that think of Nigeria. Is the only person that see Nigeria as one Nigeria, not as a tribal Nigeria, not as a religious Nigeria. Go and look at those who became even billionaires underneath him, those who became successful underneath him, those who became people underneath him within 8 years. 8 years. Nigeria would not survive today the way it's even striving to this minuscule level, if not for that 8 years of Babangida. Everything we have right now as a parastatus, from security to education to road, is what was done, set up by Babangida. So, what else? What did Obasanjo of 8 years, then Goodluck Jonathan plus another 6 years or how many years he spent there? What did they achieve? They spent over 16 billion on electricity. There's no light. Buhari, 8 years, borrowed even to the last few days of living, borrowed, and still we have no economic growth. So for me, I mean, I'm not, and I like to observe people from a critical part and see the good and bad in what they do or doing. And as for Babangida, if we start going through the list, there's still nothing. Yes.
Chifemdi, can you wait? Hold on a minute. If you are just joining this,
I can hear you.
If you are just joining this,
I can hear you. I can hear you.
If you are just joining this program, I want you to share, like, and subscribe to this channel, because we are just starting. Yesterday, when I posted this program, that I was going to be having a program regarding General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, in order to honor him, because this is one thing that we as a society, we have failed to do. We fail to do. We do not appreciate those who mean well for us. We only appreciate those who are willing to tell us bogus stories, who are willing to give us 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 naira, as the case may be. But this man wholeheartedly developed Nigeria. The Nigeria that we have today, that we still call Nigeria, this is the man that developed Nigeria. Whether it was the founding father of 419, I do not care. Whether it was the founding father of corruption, I do not care. But I am going to tell you today on this program that as far as back as 1944, Azikiwe and his family bought the bank in Lagos, and they were charged for financial fraud as far as back 1944. Then again, in between 1966 and 1975, Gowon administration was also charged for corruption. They embezzled money. So if you are telling me that IBB is the founding father of corruption in Nigeria, I'm telling you, you are a liar, because there were corruption in Nigeria before IBB came into power. And there's no country, I'm telling you today, I have traveled by the special grace of God, 51 countries on the face of this planet, 51 that I've traveled over 30 years. And I'm standing here to tell you that there's no nation on this earth that is free of corruption. The only difference between Nigeria and other countries, the corruption in Nigeria, our politicians loot our money for their personal gain. They loot the people. But in other climes, they loot the system. That's the only difference. There is no country that is free of corruption. From east to west to north to south, US, Canada, UK, measure in any country, there's no country that is free of corruption. I am telling you today, based on my experience, I've traveled 51 countries since 1990. I've traveled 51 countries, and I'm telling you, there's no country that is free of corruption. So for you to tell me that IBB is the founding father of corruption, corruption is everywhere. But this man did not steal any money from us. He did not borrow money from the IMF, who are the biggest criminal in the world, or what's the other one, International Monetary Fund. You know, what's the other name of the IMF loan? Did not take any loan, but still he was able to develop Nigeria. Look at his accomplishment. If I continue to talk about his accomplishment, we will stay here from now to tomorrow. But what I want you to tell me as an audience watching from wherever part of the world, I want you to show me any Nigerian president, dead or alive, that has done what has surpassed what IBB did for 8 years. Then I'll end this show. I'll end this program right here, right now. In absence of that, just sit down, listen to men that will educate you on what IBB has done for Nigeria. Put this corruption aspect on the side. The issue of the death of Dele Giwa, Mama Vasa, and the rest. Put them on the side. But what the man did for Nigeria is what we are still enjoying today. MD, over to you.
Yeah, you see, without sounding so much glorifying him, we're not saying Babangida is a saint. We're not saying he's a righteous man. We're not saying he's a pastor.
No, it's not.
And we're not saying he's a priest. We're saying he's a leader. And in every leadership, which you expect some good, some bad, and some ugly. Some may be in variance of acceptability. But in that context, we should also look at him holistically in terms of the greatness of what he delivered. And yes, you spoke about corruption, that some of these leaders in the Western world and all of them, let's just say the Western world are corrupt and they do. But the difference between them is they enrich their citizens and their country. Since IBB left, and even in between the time in his office, all the previous leaders till this present one, they've looted the country to enrich other countries. They've not looted the country to invest, to set up a business, to accomplish anything in the country. They've only looted the country and take the money somewhere else. And then kept the money in that country while the country is using their money to do business in their own country, invest in their people, gain interest, why they're sabotaging the government. You understand? So Babangida is somebody that we should put into perspective in comparison. In isolation, we might miss a lot of things. But if we look at it in comparison, who do we want to let's compare him to Obasanjo. Obasanjo have ruled the country twice. Dictator and as a civilian. What did he accomplish? What exactly did he accomplish? The looting under Obasanjo is first class looting. Here and Tunumbu, here and Atiku, I beg your pardon. All the government, all the functional from steel mill to everything that we had that was functioning, that is spent billions and billions of dollars to build. Atiku and Obasanjo sold them for peanuts to their friends and they strip up all the assets and then we are now importing. So compared to Jonathan Goodluck, what did Jonathan create? All the security apparatus we have today, DIA, SSS and everything was created during Babangida. Compared to Buhari. So we have to compare him to something. We have to compare him to people that are in that position or governing. By the time we now do comparative analysis, Babangida so far in the last he put money in education, he put money in public health, in security, he put money on road development, he put money in everywhere, he created dogs, he created airports, he licensed people to do business. He did everything for a state to function and grow. He created, okay, fair enough, created two parties, but he didn't stop other parties from being started. He created not just two parties, he created state infrastructure for political development across all the 36 states. And then he handed it over and walked away. He didn't create the two parties and then took over one party for himself to remain in power and start imposing his own people on people. He didn't do that. He walked away. When he tried to organize a free and fair election that won, there are some people are talking about Babangida annulling the election. They rule out the participation of many people who were against Abiola. David Mark is one of them. Buhari is another one of them. The late Sani Abacha is one of them. And so many Yorubas, Aworite people. This is another part people need to explore. The Aworite people, when I say the Awolowo, I mean the Awolowo fashion of the Yorubas, were also against Abiola. Simply because Abiola campaigned against Awolowo during the 1983 election, where Awolowo lost to Shagari. And they were against him as well. Like, you did it to one of us when we needed you campaigned for an Hausa man, we're not going to support you. But Babangida did everything right up to that point to hand over democracy to the people. Nobody's blaming David Mark. Nobody's blaming Abacha and the Yorubas who stood against their own Abiola then. Nobody's blaming them. Sonekon, who took over from, why didn't he immediately, the minute they swore him in, before Abacha kicked him out, he said June 12 will be respected, handing over the presidency, swore in Abiola. He didn't do that.
Thank you.
He wanted to be there until Sani Abacha changed him and be the president, unelected. He's a Yoruba man. So why don't blame the whole Yoruba race that could not stand up and say, no, this is a free and fair election. Regardless, he won. And he won on his merit. As such, we are not going to go back to military or tolerate this. No, they're too quiet. They were happy to be given part of the loot. The looting actually started under Abacha. Abacha did nothing but loot, kill, criminalize people. That's it. So Babangida is to be honored. We should have statues, airport named after him, road named after him. It should be studied and be taught in schools. You understand?
Chief MD, IBB remains one of the smartest Nigerian president to date. IBB remains one of the smartest, no matter how you look at it, no matter what you think the man did or did not do, but the man achieved excellently well. He did everything without looking at tribe, religion, or ethnicity. He built the entire country. What he did for the South, what he did for the North, what he did for the Southwest, Southeast, South, he did everything for Nigerians. This is one thing. And for me, let me tell you something. Let me tell you why. I'm coming, MD. Let me tell you why I decided to pick this program. I read, over the last 1 week, I read through some of the histories, because of the book I was telling you I was working on, the one I told you about the nation and the nation abandoned by its citizen. So I was doing some research and I came across what IBB has done, what he did while he was the president of Nigeria. I also look at what Gowon did between 1966 1975. I look at what Obasanjo during his military era, what he did, and I look at what he did when he became a civilian president under Agbada regime, and I look at Jonathan. I also look at late Yaradua. Late Yaradua is another person that would have done well by Nigerians. Then I look at our brother Goodluck from the South, and looking at what the man that said the power belongs to him now, Emilio Kon, I did realize that Babangida is not being honored by Nigerians. You saw the achievement I sent to you, and I've not been able to get half of that same achievement from any of those leaders that I just mentioned, right from the First Republic, the Second Republic. None. There's nothing. They don't nothing compared to what this man did. The only man that Nigeria refused to honor.
Let me add something else. Do you know during Babangida is when we have the highest growth of middle class? The highest growth of middle class, from people going from poor to middle class, it was during Babangida era. The highest growth of wealth generated was during Babangida era. The highest growth of expansion of state and the expansion of rights, it was during, even though it was a military man, Babangida era. When Obasanjo came, they squandered everything. Obasanjo can be going around sanctimoniously parading as an elder statesman, but cannot tell you what they achieved. It cannot say categorically in comparing to Babangida what he achieved for 8 years. Neither is any living president or dead of Nigeria can compare. Let any economist come out and challenge this. During Babangida era, we have the greatest growth in middle class, the greatest growth of capital per income, the greatest growth youth mobility. The greatest growth of youth mobility was during Babangida time. All these private colleges and schools did not happen during Babangida because it was funding education publicly. How many times years of strike? Teachers were being paid, professors were being paid. Nobody was not getting paid.
No strike. Nobody strike.
So let's call a spade a spade. If we are comparing, we should compare him to fellow human beings and fellow leaders from the time of independence to this present time. There is none like Babangida.
Chief
None
Fendi,
is
like
even processing or providing an opportunity to be even similarly compared. None.
Chief Fendi, like I stated earlier, yesterday I had a call from a very close. Yesterday I had a call from a very close friend. After back and forth, argument on the Facebook. So I decided he called me. I missed the call, and I called him back again. So he was trying to tell me, because he was arrested during Babangida. He spent 57 days in detention during Babangida era. So I told him, are you saying Babangida is not one of the best leader because of your experience with him, or is it something else? He said I shouldn't be comparing Babangida with any other president in Nigeria, that there's no president in Nigeria to be compared to. I said, but no, you have to compare to something. We are Nigerians. You live in the Western world. Don't compare Babangida to the Western client, those who rule in their state or their countries. Let's compare Babangida to those past, present president of Nigeria. That's what we should be doing. So if you look at the achievement, what this man achieved within a period of 8 years, and look at what Goodluck Ebele Jonathan achieved within 6 years. Look at what Obasanjo, who was privileged two times to be the president of Nigeria, who had the opportunity to right all the wrong on the second coming, who had the opportunity to transform Nigeria far beyond the way he met it. But what did he do? Nothing. So you are not telling me not to compare Babangida with Obasanjo. My question to the audience is that do you have any record of any past president present that you can share with us on this studio today, so that we can compare the achievement with the achievement of General Babangida? For me, Babangida still stands out tall among all the presidents that we ever had since independence.
Of course, without a doubt, there's no comparison at all. All the institutions, all the parastatal institutions we're enjoying today, take security, all the security apparatus we're enjoying today was created during Babangida. That's it. So what else? EFCC was forced on Obasanjo, that is even taken away from the part of what DIA was supposed to be doing and SSS supposed to be doing. So let's be honest. If we are comparing apples to oranges, we'll be wrong. We can't compare Babangida with a Western leader. Even if we were to compare Babangida with the Western leader, we will still see that Babangida have also achieved far more, because those Western leaders have their own state apparatus already established decades and decades ago. They only just come
hundreds of years ago
trying to manage. Babangida created new things
from scratch.
does not
From
exist.
scratch, he created from scratch.
From institution, from scratch. Abuja blueprint was Babangida.
Yes, it was the one that created
Even Lagos
Abuja.
State, before he moved away from Lagos State, it transformed Lagos State. I mean, how much was the price of oil? Oil wasn't that great. Majority of our income was 100%, 95% oil based by the federal government now. We had agriculture, we have farm, we have steel, for God's sake. Refineries were working.
MD, it was during Babangida that MD, during Babangida, that was when they established the Ajakuta Steel Company. The Ajakuta Steel Company was set up during Babangida regime. The Ajakuta Steel Company in Geregu, it's located in Geregu in the former Kwara State. It was set up under Babangida regime, and it was being constructed by by Russian expatriate, because I happens to work there. I work with Fijiro, a company called Fijiro, in that place. Babangida created that place. That place was supposed to be it was supposed to be one of the biggest projects in Nigeria history, where we can manufacture cars, parts for cars, or iron ore, everything. It was very huge. I worked there. So before we continue, let me just quickly see. I think we have
Aluminium Smelter Company in Kotabasi, Babangida created it. Even the assembly hall they are enjoying today, Babangida created it.
The
assembly hall, the security meeting headquarters in Abuja, he created it.
We're going to take some few comments now before we continue. Alaro of Nigeria, great job. Thank you, Alaro, for being part of the program. We want to get your opinion of your own feedback as well. Iran, happy to join to celebrate an icon of the best president we ever had in Nigeria. President B. Babangida, we salute you for the testament of your leadership and development. God bless you, my brother, for align with our own idea as well. Alaro again. Sorry, I'm supposed to display. Sorry, that was the first one. Great job. Then Alaro of Nigeria. The only functional institution up to date in Nigeria is from IBB. You see that? I'm happy that some Nigeria also believe that this man remains one of the best presidents we ever had, in spite of the little baggages that he carries around. But in spite of all that, he still remains the best. He stands tall among all the presidents, dead or alive to date. IBB was the one who created middle class Nigeria and brought in the youth of Nigeria into mainstream politics. IBB is a unifier. Thank you, my brother. The next one, IBB has not received an honor from Nigeria due to him. He deserves an honor from Nigeria while he's still alive. I'm going to continue to celebrate this man. I have taken up this fight. For me, I like to celebrate people one day when they are alive, not when they are dead. So for me, I'm going to reach out to this man personally. I'm going to continue to celebrate this man as long as I live, because all I know about Nigeria of today, everything that I enjoyed while I still reside in Nigeria was created by this man. This man only. Nobody else has been able to surpass what he did for Nigeria on behalf of Nigerians. So thank you, my brother Iran Alaro of Nigeria. Thank you for being part of this program today. Chief MD, I'm going to ask you a very critical question before we continue our program. Do you think that IBB received the recognition it deserves from Nigerians?
No, not at all.
And why is that so?
Name anywhere they've actually praised him. Maybe family, maybe a few other political people looking for political endorsement or thieves. But in terms of generally critically looking at him, right? People have not given him his flowers or his dues. And there are reasons for that, because people are hanging the June 12, let's go from June 12 on him solely. But there are videos of him doing interviews talking about June 12. And he named the betrayers. And the pressure on him, one single man, was just too much. He named the betrayers that betrayed the democratic vision he had of handing over to a democratic process, not just handing over to one person. He didn't really care who won. He just wanted a democratic process that functioned. He funded the two parties that he created. He created state apparatus for each of the parties and funded. And he didn't try to step on one of the parties to make himself the civilian president after 8 years of military rule. He was happy to step aside. Now, June 12, it did not just single-handedly betray Abiola. There are other people that should be held accountable. Some people might talk about Dele Giwa incident. And so those are things that are very, very important not to ignore as well. And other people as regards to that. Those things are very important not to ignore. And yeah, we should also castigate him for that. But overall, as Nigerian context, this man is still the greatest leader we've had to date. Period. No comparison. You have to compare him to something or to someone. All the institutions today, nobody has created one new institution that rival what he has created. Nobody has made democracy work or have a vision of a democratic process that will work. Underneath Babangida, despite he's a military man or not, you cannot hear of any tribalism or religious bigotry. It's not for that. It's nothing like that. It's neither a religious bigot, a tribalist, or even anything of hate. It was just a leader with a vision and a sense of purpose. And he was betrayed. Yes. He would have happily handed over power to Abiola if not for the distractors and the betrayers and the evil people. And since then, we've not recovered. We have not recovered. We are still in that die-hard doldrum space because of Babangida. So anyone who will come today and does not see Babangida as one of the greatest leaders in Nigeria, then they are not honest. They are not honest. And they are not truthful. And that's the fact. Babangida should be recognized. He should be studied and he should be given his honor in this great country of Nigeria that we both believe in. It should be given his flowers. It created more middle class. It created more rich people, created more wealth. Yes, there are corruption and everything, but it wasn't limited to just one family owning everything, keeping everything to themselves. Wealth was created for people and everyone who have the opportunity to chase wealth. The growth till this very moment, the growth of the middle class was kick-started underneath him. And nobody has surpassed it to date. So I don't know what else it needs to do, right? That needs to happen rather for him to be recognized as one of the greatest leaders, one of the best leaders. You know.
For me, going forward after this program, I'm going to dedicate a page to Babangida in recognition for what he did on behalf of Nigerians. I'm going to dedicate a page in one of my upcoming book to IBB. Yes, I'm going to do that.
That's great.
It deserves to be recognized by Nigerians while he's still alive, not when he's dead. Then people will start to say, oh, he did this, he did that, because they said you don't criticize the dead. But while this man is still alive, I encourage every Nigerian, irrespective of your tribe, whether you believe he did something or not, but this man deserves to be recognized. It deserves to be honored. And if I were President Tinubu today, I will honor this man. I will honor him, because whatever they are enjoying today in Aso Rock, this is the man that laid the foundation. This is the man that single-handedly built Aso Rock and moved Nigeria Federal Capital from Lagos to Abuja, because Lagos was becoming so congested. You and I know that Lagos is not, it's not too conducive to be the federal capital of the country. Then the money we were receiving from OSAs is nothing to compare to what Obasanjo received, Jonathan received. Nothing to compare to. But this man was able to build all these institutions across the 36 states. The 1,000 and 1,001 flat in Ikoyi, he built it. The same thing replicated across most of the states in the country. So somebody is telling me creation of a state is not an achievement. If it's not, then what is an achievement to you? Tell me those that you believe that have done something, what they've been able to achieve while they were in office. Then I'll tell you what Babangida did. I'm not a spokesman for IBB. I never liked IBB, but I'm saying it because this is what it is. This man meant well. For me, I'm looking beyond what the man did to other people. I'm looking at what he did for the people of Nigerians. How was Nigerian treated under this man administration when he was the president? How do the world recognize? I mean, look at Nigerians compared to the way they look at Nigerians today. The benefit, the things that we benefited under his administration, whether you like him or not, but Nigerians were far better off than today. Nigerians were better off.
Agreed.
The floor is yours, my brother.
Agreed. Nigeria is way better off. And not only better off, we were striving. All this insecurity, no deal. We were striving. I cannot, you see, I'm not a Muslim, so it won't be because I'm a Muslim I'm supporting him. I'm not from the north, so it won't be because I'm an Hausa person I'm saying these great things about him. I'm not related to him. I have no affiliation or ties to him. But if you're an honest person with conscience of truth telling, when you look at him critically and you compare him, if you look at Babangida in isolation, right? You might think the good he did and the bad he did, that the bad outweigh the good. The good is not substantial enough for the bad. You might think that. But when you now start comparing him, let's just do a simple comparison. I know it's a military dictator, agreed, and Buhari is a civilian. It was a military dictator, a civilian, more or less regime president. Compare the two of them. Let's take security. Underneath Babangida, security issue we did not have. The invasion of people from the neighboring country in the north through Niger, we did not have that. The whole quarter hundred of the northern part of Nigeria that has been ceded to terrorism, to terrorists, we did not have that. Underneath Buhari, they flourish. In the House of Assembly, they were debating that they wanted to do road and electricity to some part of the north. The terrorists were threatening the federal government that they should not do roads and electricity to those areas. And the federal government backed out. And they are openly debating it on the assembly floor. Not like, how dare you? Who are you? Some bunch of thugs with weapons that have been flown in by foreign agents who are trying to destabilize the country and giving them weapons to fight the country, to fight the country. There's a, go on YouTube. There's a video somebody shared one time on my platform long time ago. A video of an helicopter flew in from somewhere to the north among the terrorists who they recorded it, flown by a white man, dropping ammunition in the forest.
Yeah, I saw it.
Do you know in that Zambiza forest, there's a runway? Their planes are coming in, taking off, looting the resources.
Of course, raw mineral resources, yeah.
Raw mineral resources. Those terrorists, they're not fighting for any political thing. They're not fighting for any state right, any right at all. They are just terrorists who felt like the country and the region and the resource belongs to them. And Buhari enables them. Buhari enables them. Buhari enables them. That never happened under Babangida at all. At all. Jonathan was so weak when Boko Haram started. He was so weak, getting drunk all the time in Aso Rock. He could not even confront when they were very marginalized fraction. Jonathan have the audacity to come out to a public space to say some terrorists have taken over his government or been part of this government. He didn't even try to weed them out. He didn't try to say Whoever is supporting these people, even though if it's my wife, my child, and everything, with them out and let them face the justice. None of that. You come and complain. A very cowardly, weak human being. That's why I cannot understand. In 2003 election, people were clamoring for Jonathan to come back. Come back for what?
Come
A
back
weak
fire.
alcoholic.
You know, MD, Chief MD, just going through some of the lists, you know, FHA estate was built by Babangida nationwide.
That's right.
The Shiroro hydroelectric power station built by Babangida. The completion, the Troja Bridge, Kebi, the GBR water treatment plant, the Chalawa Sanga Dam in Kanu. How many did the Obasanjo build? How many did Jonathan build? How many did Buhari build? How many? Go one. How many of these did they build? Because if they have been building just maybe Jonathan built like 3 or 4, Obasanjo built 5 or 6. But by today, the issue of electricity would have been 18 of the past in Nigeria. Because from dam, we can also generate electricity. From dam, we can generate electricity in Nigeria. So for me, no matter how you argue it, whether you believe it or you don't believe it, I'm not begging you to take it, but I'm telling you what it is. I don't know IBB; he doesn't know me, but I'm standing on the side of the truth, because what this man did, nobody in the history of Nigeria since independence has been able to surpass his achievement. Yes, like they said, he was the founding father.
Attempt.
That's it, you know. No, because people keep telling me that Baba, because we are not students of history, Babangida, if we forgot so soon, Babangida killed Dele Giwa, the Babangida killed this. Babangida was the founding father of 419. Who is not corrupt in Nigeria? Just tell me one person that is not corrupt in Nigeria, or anywhere in any part of the world, the Western world, that there's no corrupt person. Tell me. During Buhari alone, Nigerians died more during Buhari, more than those who died during the civil war of the Biafrans. Nigerians died more.
Let us be clear. We are not obfuscating.
The death of Nigeria was just like on a daily basis during Buhari.
Just let me be clear here. Let me be very clear. We are not obfuscating or Babangida for those crimes or whatever that happened. That's not what we're doing. No, what we're trying to say is in comparison
of his achievement.
Not disregard. We are not telling you to disregard that. Because if we're to look at current president and all the way to the back, even to Obasanjo and all beyond, we will see there's a lot of killings that happened during that time too. There's still a lot of fraud. What did look at Tinubu came in? The first thing the House of Assembly passed was to give each other 160 million naira to buy cars. So is that not, what is that? So nobody is denying the fact that Babangida did some things that are not very savory for ones to say yes. However, in comparison to the nation, when we say the nation benefited and grew. They grew better under Babangida than any other leader of Nigeria. And that's a fact. There's empirical evidence to that. There is data to that if you are honest, you want to research, it's there. The growth of the middle class is there. The economic standard there is there. The standard of living there is there to prove it. The security is there. So which yardstick do you want to use to judge him that he has not surpassed? That's the thing. Why are you judging him on? If you're going to take in isolation of Dele Giwa's situation or any other situation, it's bad. Because Dele Giwa's family will be grieving, even by mentioning his name now. And I'm not going to condescend it or lower it to anything less than that. However, what I'm going to say is, not disregarding that, of course not. It's saying in general, his overall contribution to the nation, It does not outweigh that, but it's outstanding.
Yep.
And it all needs to be recognized and appreciated. For that reason, is the reason why people like you and I say is still one of the greatest leaders we've had to date.
You know,
Till
Chief
date,
MD,
is still one of the greatest leader. Yeah,
Chief MD, when you talk about
yeah.
corruption, the issue of corruption started the day the British handed over the southern and the northern protectorate to the newly formed government during the after the independence or during post independence. That was when the corruption started from Nigeria. That was when the corruption started.
Because the British
Corruption
knew we are
started
not
from
one
there.
country.
That is it.
They knew we are not one country.
They forcefully put us together. That was corruption. That was the birth of corruption, in my own opinion.
They
And
wanted that so they can see out great interest.
as far as back as 1975, the two officials of the Central Bank of Nigeria were accused of falsifying shipment of manifesto, inflating the amount of smith they purchased as far as back 1975.
There you go.
Under Gowon regime, two persons were also named, Joseph Tucker and Gomak of the Federal Commissioner. They were also accused of corruption. So when you talk about corruption, that Babangida is the founding father of corruption, for crying out loud, that man met corruption in Nigeria. That man was probably born into corruption in Nigeria, just like you and I. We are all victims of corruption. We were born into it.
Because they lack historical context. What was the reason that Buhari and Idiagbon took over the government? Before Babangida, Idiagbon and Buhari was like because of corruption.
Because of corruption.
That was the reason they say they're taking over the government. That was the reason they
overthrew. I remember vividly. I was just coming back from
exactly. So Babangida wasn't there then.
When I heard Panam military overthrown, we heard it from, it was, I think it was Dogoyaro. It was Dogoyaro that made the pronouncement.
Yeah, but Babangida wasn't there then, is if I'm correct. So where did that came from? You see, people just want to jump and puff and say stuff without fact or reason because of their dislike or like of somebody. I don't operate like that. I can have a disagreement with somebody and still able to point out their good qualities and say, yeah, this guy is good in this, or this guy is credible in this way and that. In this case, with Babangida, we have to be honest. If we are comparing Babangida to just himself, well, we might look too critical and say, oh, he did this, he failed in this and that and that. But if we now compare him in an holistic fashion, in totality, with other people, other leaders from independent to this day, it stands out. It stands above all. Then that makes me even question our system of government and say, is really under military government, we're able to function better. I'm not in the support of military government. Perhaps we should remodel our democratic system to meet our own African demand and need. Because this Western democracy shows it's not working. Look at the countries.
It's not working for Nigeria
at all. Look at the countries that the military have taken over their country. Burkina Faso, for instance, Niger. They did better. Did you hear about one? I think it's in. Is it Mali or Burkina Faso or Niger? I think one of the country. A CEO of one of this company, this Western French CEO in the country, they've been paying zero tax. They now told the CEO, oh, guy, you owe us $120 million tax. The CEO said, to hell with them, doesn't owe them any money. They jailed him and all his staff. Now, when the CEO went and did accounting and everything, they realized they owe in the country $146 million or something like that. Now won't have to pay. Now, before, what would the CEO like that would have done? You just call one of the accountant general or this thing and give him $5 million. You can afford to give him $10 million, right? And pay $140 million. That one they put the $5 million in the account for him or her in the Western world. He write everything off. Right now, they held him accountable in jail. They have to pay about $8 million or something for him to be released out of the money. and now promise to pay, or they will nationalize all his assets. They are worth billions. So
thank you, my brother. I think we have one comment here. Let's just quickly take this before we round up the program for today. Let's see. I think it's Iran weighing the pros and cons of IBB, the positive side of his action and the negative side. The positive impact of his action weighed far higher than its negative impact in the country. Thank you, and God bless you, my brother, for that wonderful comment. You know,
is it
I
true?
mean, I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see some Nigerians who believe that this man deserves recognition, in spite of whatever they might think of him, but they still agree that the man did well for Nigerians, and on behalf of Nigeria, it met well for me. The angle that I look at it from, because before last week, I'm not really, for me, I never liked IBB, to be honest with you. I never liked him as a person, just like I dislike Buhari also. But when I did, after my research, like I stated earlier, you know, but I was convinced that with all this achievement, nobody is talking about this man. Nobody has come out to recognize this man with all this achievement. This achievement, they are still visible today in Nigeria, in the Nigeria of today. They are there. And there's no other president, whether they are dead or alive, that has surpassed or even done half of all these things. And we are here silent, not giving recognition to such a wonderful man. Man, for me, I spent 2 days just looking through back and forth. I was like, you know what? It's time to voice this out and let the public know that there is someone that Nigeria deserve recognition from Nigerians. Even if they don't, but we are going to continue to promote it until a day that somebody will decide to step up and give that accolade to this very wonderful man. Yes, like I said, he used letter bomb to Kidele Giwa. That was the norm of that era. He assassinated some few persons. Yes, but again, among all the past presidents now, tell me one of them that their hand is free of blood. Among the past and present president now, so to speak, even under this regime of Emilio Kon, are you going to stand here and tell me that his palm is free of blood? No. It's not that I'm not supporting anybody that kill anybody, because I believe in law of karma. I believe that if you kill by sword, you shall die by sword. But however, that does not erase the fact that this man did well for us as citizens of that great nation. If we had another president that continued from where he stopped by creating more and creating more, perhaps today Nigeria would have had the longest bridge in Africa. But nobody talk about the longest bridge in Nigeria anymore, because you know why? Some other country already had the same thing. You know? So, my wonderful brothers and sisters, comrades and compatriots, for me, I think it's about time that we start recognizing this man, give him the accolade that he deserves.
Let's find a contact. Tell you what, anyone who have access to...
No, hold on, Andy. Hold on. While we were just having this program, I had a message from someone. He said he's forwarding the video to IBB today, now after the program. I just received the message now. Somebody just messaged me, you know, I think from Germany. He said, I'm going to forward your video to IBB direct. I have his contact. I said, well, that's fine. You know, I'm not doing it for his recognition, but I'm doing it because my heart want me to do it.
In the West, we in the West, let's say those of us in UK who've seen the difference. I have access and we can do something. If they're not going to honor him in Nigeria, we will honor him here. We will
honor him here in the UK. Yes, we'll do that.
I have some assets, some top people we can pull together and do just a day of honor and appreciation. It doesn't have to be physically here. If we could make it great, you understand? We could do that. I think we should do that. We should plan and do that.
I'm taking you up on that.
No, I can put. I'll use all my political connection plus the embassy as well. I know the Nigerian embassy will be behind us with that, because just a day and with evidence we can list all these things. The reason why we're honoring him are this. This is it. We're making a special day of honor for him.
Thank you, my brother. I love that. I love that. I love that. We are
I
going to
have
do it.
the,
We are
I
going to
have
pull
the
it here.
connection to pull that off. I have the political bandwidth to use to pull that off. So let's do it.
I'm on it. I'm with
The
you
current
all the way.
ambassador in UK right now, I have a direct access to him, and I also have somebody who also have a very strong connection to him. Let's do it.
We are going to do it. Let's plan for it. I'm going to wait for this
Consider
brother
it
that
done
just
as a
messaged
matter
me.
of fact. Even if Babangida doesn't want it, we don't care. We, the
We don't care,
citizens,
but we just want to honor him. We just want to
we
honor
will
him. He
honor him.
deserves it.
If the Nigerian government not going to do it, if the
We
Nigerian
are going to do
politicians
it.
not going to recognize it, we will do it. And apologies to those who may have been affected differently during the 8 years of Babangida, like the Delegiwas family and SXS. No, we do recognize that
Yes,
he
we
has
do.
his weaknesses and he has his faults and he has some issues. But what I want to do is just an appreciation of other things as well. And we do recognize that. So we're not
Yes.
minimizing that. So we're not, but we need to, I'm putting my word and my mouth and my resources where it is. We are going to do this. And those who want to be part of it should contact us in this show and let's plan for it to do it as soon as possible. Because this man is old. He needs to see those of us Nigerians, not after he's gone. Some political people looking for political recognition will start going to his house and crying and praying and pretending holier than thou. Let us, the average Nigerians, go and do something now. We do it here. Let's do it here abroad where we can be free. Because we try to do it in that Nigeria, they turn into a political thing and then it distracted. They turn into political and tribal thing. None of that. None of that. This is not political. This is not tribal. This is not religious. This is just celebrating one great Nigeria that did its best to keep Nigeria together and grow the country. And we will recognize him based on what he has achieved. And put anyone who wants to join us on this, to join me and Prince to do this, contact us and we form a group and we start the process. We do not need Babangida even. We do not need him. I can get the hall, like we can finance it, get a wonderful place even in central London, just for a day, to just recognize him.
Chief MD, thank you so much. I want to also add my voice to that.
That is a pledge that we will do.
Chief MD, I want to thank you so much. I also want to add my voice to that. For me, I understand for those who were affected directly or indirectly by the regime of Babangida. But again, if you look at the whole thing holistically, the annulment of June 12 and the refusal to hand over the election, the hand over the government to Abiola was not entirely his fault alone. Like you stated earlier, Shonekon had the opportunity to hand over to whoever he chose to hand over to, but he refused to do that. Nobody is faulting Shonekon on this, but all the blame is going on Babangida because he was the one that annulled the election. Yes, for me, I apologize today on behalf of Babangida. I am apologizing as a Nigerian who believe in the core principle of value of the things that the development that he brought into Nigeria during his time. I am apologizing because I'm a patriot of Nigeria. And I'm not a tribalistic person. I don't go with sentiment. I don't go with because I belong to one political party. But I'm apologizing because looking through what this man has done, there's no Nigerian president, dead or alive, that has surpassed it. So for that simple reason, I apologize for whatever that you think he might have done while he was the president of Nigeria. I thank you all.
Before you go, hold on. Before you go, he actually
I'm not going anywhere yet. You still have the floor.
He himself personally apologized about June 12. He said that's one of his greatest regrets. He actually apologized about it. And don't forget, Babangida and Abiola, they're good friends. It wasn't like an enemy thing. He was even afraid. I watched the interview closely, and he's mentioned it a couple of times. He was even afraid of Abiola's life. Because people like David Mark and this lunatic man Sani Abacha were promising death to Abiola. David Mark said they will personally put a gun to his head, to Abiola's head. Nobody's saying about that. The same David Mark end up being the Senate president.
The Senate president for two tenure. For two tenure, yes.
You understand? Nobody's holding him accountable for destabilizing a free and fair election. So let's call a spade a spade. Nobody's holding Abacha accountable. Nobody's holding Shonekon accountable today, because Shonekon could have done the most honorable thing. As soon as they gave him the power or anything, Shonekon, or he wanted to be a president that he didn't fight for, he could have said, yeah. He didn't even need to leave his house. And now being confirmed as leader of Nigeria, my first course of action is to recognize the election and immediately swear in this man. He didn't do that. Baba want to be president too now. You understand?
Chief MD, I think we still have a couple of comments I'll probably just quickly read through. Then I'll give you 2 minutes for your closing remark before I also end the program. Let me just quickly read through the new comment again, because they are also part of the program, so we must also read their comment because they are taking their time to contribute. Okay, let's see. Aaron, thank you, my brother, for bringing this topic up. I appreciate you. We appreciate you as well for being part of the program. The next person, Alaro of Nigeria. Prince, I sent you a WhatsApp message. Okay, I think that's the guy that I told you said he's going to forward the program to IBB after the end of the program. My brother Alaro, thank you for being part of the program. We appreciate you. Like Chief MD said, we are going to set aside a day. We are going to, after this program, we are going to create a WhatsApp group, and I'm going to add your number. Then we want Nigerians of like mind, those who believe that IBB did well for Nigeria, those who believe that his performance, his achievement outweigh every other thing that he did while being the president of Nigeria, those who believe that he was able to unite Nigeria more than every other president that came after him. I want you to send me a message so we can add you on our WhatsApp group that we're going to form today in honor of the man we call Maradona. Is one of the smartest Nigerian president we ever had. One of the smartest.
Let's just quickly get away from that. Don't let us denigrate him by calling me the slaw of Maradona. It's very
whatever. Well, that's what Nigeria refer to. They call him. They refer to him as Maradona. He's a very smart and intelligent man. He's a very smart and intelligent man.
No, actually, no. It's actually a slaw. It's a slaw. It's a polite way of disrespecting him. That is skinny.
No, I don't think so, Chief MD. Maradona, if you remember Maradona, the football player, they call him Maradona. Because
you cannot catch him in one angle. You cannot tailor him but it's actually a slaw.
Well,
if you really think about it, it's a slaw. It's not actually a praise. It's a slaw that's used to describe him as a tricky, dishonest person, and which is not.
It's not.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Look past all this. Whatever. His achievement is my primary focus today.
Absolutely. Likewise.
It's achievement, nothing else. I don't care whatever else that you think he did or did not do, but his achievement is what, because we are where we are today as a society, as a nation, because those that came after them refused to do the same thing he did. Most of the Nigerians who migrate from Nigeria to the Western world or to diaspora, why do they leave? Because Nigeria is no longer livable. But under IBB, Nigeria, things were far better off. So let me go back to the next comment here. Same Alaro of Nigeria. I think it should be done also in Nigeria. It's referring to we should also honor him in Nigeria. Yes, we'll plan for that as well. We would like to honor him here in the UK, and we also want to honor him in Nigeria. We can set that up in Abuja as well. That's not a problem. The next one is Iran. That would encourage other leaders of our country to do something good for the country. Bravo. Thank you. God bless you, my brother. Chief MD, you have the floor.
Yes. Thank you for this wonderful program. I really feel touched by it. I'm most impressed that we are able to cover this topic because it seems our thought process align. And for that very reason, we just think alike in this regard, because it's something that has been in my mind, because I like to study people, and I always like to look at people not from a neutral perspective, because you can't totally do that, but from a critical perspective, So first of all, I know IBB has apologized for his bads, his woes, and the June 12. But I also, as Chief MD, who also aspire to be a leader in that great Nigeria, our beloved country, is to say I also apologize on his behalf. That we, the fellow Nigerians coming behind, apologize on his behalf for the foolishness or stupidity or madness or craziness, whatever way you want to put it, that will make you comfortable. Put it that way. But first, and the most important thing is that this is what you also must also put in context. Babangida is not a religious bigot like Buhari. Babangida is not a tribalist like Buhari or any of other leaders to date. Even Jonathan is a tribalist too. Babangida is not a tribalist. Babangida is also the one that believes in Nigeria the most. Everything he tried to do, from creating the state to get more people into state, from creating a middle-class economy, from developing the wealth of the nation and giving people opportunity to grow, he did it because he loved Nigeria. Of course, he made himself rich in the process and many more. He did because, and during that time, what was the price of oil? He was able to invest in agriculture, in education, so many things. So I personally want to say, let's look at Babangida with a broader scope, a broader, bigger scope, an holistic scope that is just beyond the narrow perspective of what we've heard about him. And then let's honor him. Let's honor him while he's alive so that we can use it to encourage other leaders. Your legacy will speak, no matter what you think. That after your 8 years, okay, your legacy will speak. Many of these so-called leaders today, their generation will be stoned. Because when they come out in public, their generation will be stoned, nothing to celebrate about them. Buhari today will be the person that wherever he goes, apart from his little, look at the riot happening last time in Katsina. They went to his house, almost burned down his house. So I appeal to you people. I personally, I'll speak for myself first. I personally, I'm going to now start working towards doing something in UK, use it through the Nigerian embassy to honor Babangida in UK. And we're going to try to do similar thing in Nigeria, but we don't want it to be overtaken by the politics and the tribalism in Nigeria. Let's do something first here. Let's show example, and then we can take it to Nigeria at some point. But first, let's do it. So it's beyond tribalism, it's beyond religion, it's just us Nigerians to say, we honor you, IBB. We honor you. We honor you. We honor you, and we appreciate you, and we think you're a man of honor and integrity that needs to be honored. Why are you still alive to witness people saying the good things to you about you and what you did and what you meant to them? During the Babangida era, we were respected. You carry Nigerian passport anywhere, you are honored. We are respected. It takes no nonsense from nobody. We are highly respected across the world. We were treated like royals. Those of us who have traveled, like yourself as well, Prince, they have traveled with you with Nigerian passport or any other foreign passport you have. You show a Nigerian passport, they respect you. Now, you are just one of those. We are not even classified. Even Somaliland, that is not a nation yet, is even much more respected than us. So Babangida is the greatest leader we have to date. There's none compared. At the moment, maybe in the foreseeable future, there's none compared. So Babangida, President Babangida, we salute you. God bless. And thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my wonderful audience. For me,
now, before you go there, somebody says GCDN Human Rights Charity. Please send a WhatsApp message if you want me to be part of the honoring Babangida.
No, I'm the one that sent it. I'm the one that sent that message.
Okay, sorry, please.
Yeah, thank you, Chief MD. Thank you, Chief MD. Thank you, our wonderful audience, Alaro, Ifale, Iran, and the rest. We thank you for being part of this program. For me, I always say, I prefer to honor people while they are alive than when they're dead. For me, if you want to honor me while I'm alive. Celebrate me while I'm alive. Because if you come when I'm dead, I might probably give you a knock on your head. In my own opinion, IBB deserves to be recognized by all Nigerians, including the current administration, who is busy borrowing money in our names and looting in their own names. My brother, let's do this. In 24 hours from now, we shall have a flyer in honor of IBB. We are going to put this together. You and I will put it together. We'll get a place in London, and we are going to honor him. I will chat with our brother so we can get his link. Send him a letter informing him that we are going to be honoring him in the UK. If he wants to come, fine. But if he doesn't want to come, that's okay. But we are going to honor him.
We don't even need that. The man is old.
No,
don't worry.
He's old. So
he can do a video message.
He can do a video message, but we are going to honor him. Nigerians worldwide want to honor him.
Video message. We won't honor him.
Yes.
We don't even need a video message, Seth. Now we won't honor him. We'll do everything, send it to him. We still will honor him with or without him, with or without his blessing, with or without his participation. Now we won't honor him. Babangida, God bless you.
God bless you for all you did.
Yeah,
you and I, we are going to put a flyer together in the next 24 hours. We show out that flyer with contact details, phone number. If you want to be a part of the group, we are going to form a WhatsApp group after this program. And we encourage those of you who believe that this man meant well. Look at it from that perspective. Babangida, during his tenure in office as president of Nigeria, what did he do? Does he meant well for the people of Nigeria? Or he was just there to enrich himself and his family? If your answer is yes, if your answer is no, then join us. If your answer is yes, then you can decide not to be a part of it. But for us, having looked through the history, the achievement of this wonderful great man, I believe, and I have come to this conclusion, that this man deserves to be honored by Nigerians who are still alive, who were born or who lived in Nigeria during his tenure. Looking at all his achievements, all the wonderful things that he did, that nobody has been able to surpass till this day, 2024. Thank you, my brother. May God help us all. I'll see you again next time, same place, same time.
Amen. Have a good evening.